present here, we have representatives from other clubs, which I would want them to introduce themselves. Some of our club members have joined virtually through a Zoom platform. Without further ado, let me hand over to my colleagues to do the introduction, and thereafter we will revert to the business of the day. Thank you. Yes.
My name is Alex Maholela. I'm from Dikwena United FC. I am in support of the press conference that is being led by my colleague, Mr. Machini Mutlong. Thank you.
Thank you for the platform. My name is Chomontul. I'm representing FC Black Cross. I'm aware about the press conference. It's not a surprise to me. You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will also be joined by Mr. Sipo, is the chairman of Motsepe FC. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we convened this press conference is actually a culmination of a myriad of issues that came to the table and to the fore, raised by ABC Motsepe League clubs. To this end, it's important that one should lay a bit of salient background details to have a clear understanding of where we are. As ABC Motsepe League clubs in the Free State, we had a meeting a few months ago where we raised sharply issues of concern and issues that really touched on the nerve of running of the clubs in the Free State. In this meeting, clubs were represented and clubs raised, among others, issues relating to non-payment of traveling allowance and subsidies. These were, among others, issues which were raised. Now, this led to clubs deciding to author a joint memorandum of grievances. And they tabled a whole range of issues that really impacted adversely and negatively in the running of their clubs. Chief in these issues was the incessant default in paying travel allowance and or subsidy to all the clubs in the Free State. Must at this juncture indicate that clubs, in terms of the arrangement, receive what I will term a stipend of an amount of 30,000 per annum. This is an amount that has to go towards traveling allowance and subsidies. And in terms of practice, this amount would always be paid, or should actually be paid, prior to the commencement of the new season. Now, clubs have been concerned that for the past 2 or 3 soccer seasons, they've been struggling to receive traveling allowance or subsidy in respect of, in breach of the commitment made in this instance by the league. Now, I'm saying this is a 30,000 per club that has to be paid. Clubs have been concerned that this amount is not even linked to CPIX. It's not inflation linked. So it's a flat rate of an amount of 30,000, irrespective of the increase in costs, fuel costs, traveling costs, and all of those considerations to be made. But that was not the point at the time. At the time, it was to say, please, league, you need to come to the party, be of assistance to the clubs by paying to the clubs monies that are due to them. This joint memorandum of grievances was sent to the league, and a response to that was a meeting which was convened between the league and the clubs on the 20th of August 2023. This meeting was held in Valcom at CE2 campus. The meeting was attended by high-powered delegation of the league, including the deputy president, and all the clubs were in attendance. An assessment and a whole range of issues were raised in that meeting. I wouldn't dwell much into the nitty-gritties of issues which were raised or rather discussed in that meeting, except that the very same issue of non-payment, the default in payment of allowances, featured prominently in the discussions. Commitments were made by all and sundry in that gathering, and action log was adopted in terms of monitoring of the adherence of implementation of these resolutions. All parties were in concert that an amount, that the league will revert to the clubs on or before the 1st of September 2023. We took this commitment seriously as the clubs, because we were of the view that the issues that were raised were important, crucial, and emotive, and they required urgent attention. It is saddening to note that to this date, today is the 23rd of September, 21st of September, that the clubs have not received any feedback, any progress report in respect of the issues which were raised there. Now, in our view, this conduct is regressive in nature, because all the gains that we thought were made on the 20th of August 2023 have now been reduced to ashes. We don't have any resolutions anymore. What actually shocked the clubs was an invitation which was then issued by the league for a pre-season meeting to be held on the 16th of September. Notwithstanding the issues that the clubs had raised sharply with the league, notwithstanding the fact that there is an action log which has not been attended to or adhered to in whatever shape, manner, or form. Now, the league had the audacity to convene a pre-season gathering. By the way, the pre-season gathering, among others, deals with fixture draw, and it would appear that the league was mainly interested in just ensuring that a fixture draw is conducted, irrespective of the outstanding issues that the league is fully aware of that they needed to address with the clubs. To us, that exhibited unparalleled arrogance, level of arrogance on the part of the league. And it reduced clubs to non-entities. That clubs were now undermined, that whatever resolutions which were taken on the 20th of August should just be disregarded. The clubs raised these concerns with the league upon receipt of the invitation to attend the meeting. And we were met with untold and unimaginable arrogance when the league informed clubs that they are going to proceed with pre-season meeting with or without the clubs. Now, my understanding, small understanding of the term meeting means that there are two parties coming together to discuss issues of mutual and common interest. Now we're sitting with a situation where we are told, without you, we are going through a meeting. In our view, that was not a meeting, perhaps for lack of an appropriate term. It was a monologue. And what happened in that monologue session is that the league conducted a draw without clubs. Pre-season meeting usually addresses any other business impacting on the clubs. So it means this was not even a meeting as I indicated, but a monologue of just going through the motion in terms of conducting a fixture draw. Because no other issues could have been discussed. If they were to be discussed, with who in attendance? Because none of the clubs, except 2 or 3 clubs which showed up. Even them, it's 2 clubs from tertiary institutions. And 1 club went there to just observe and check what was happening and provide feedback, because we were shocked to see on the day in issue a meeting proceeding without clubs. We need to indicate that we authored a notice of declination of that invitation. And we declined the invitation, and we provided reasons why we declined the invitation. And the invitation to attend that pre-season meeting was declined primarily due to the fact that there are hanging issues, there are outstanding issues, which we at the time, even now, still waiting for the league to revert to us on. And we could not have put the cart before the horse. The horse will trip. We want to deal with these issues, settle them, and ensure that we pave way to a season, soccer season 2023-24, which is not marred with any controversies, where outstanding issues should have been resolved. Now, it is for this reason that we took a very firm, and resolute stance, which stance, by the way, seemed to not have gone down well with the powers that be. Because just before we could commence with the meeting, we were threatened with regards to the unlawfulness of us having to air our concerns. Is it not even an open secret? Why should it be hidden? We're not plunging any processes or anyone into disrepute. All that we are doing is to stand up for what belongs to us, rightfully so. We're not begging for that money. It is money that is budgeted for. It is money that is allocated in terms of the budget to the teams. The teams are the beneficiaries of that money. Now, if we are threatened of action, disciplinary action, for coming in public, out in public, and expressing our dismay and frustration. Ladies and gentlemen, you should understand that these clubs are not run with peanuts. These clubs are funded directly from the coffers and pockets of club owners. The very same traveling allowance is miaga. It is so thin that it would only, at the very least, cover traveling expense or costs of one trip from Bloemfontein to Sasolburg, and it's done. But the very same amount is not even been advanced to clubs. Clubs are experiencing dire financial constraints. Perhaps we need to send a reminder that this is a third tier of the league in South Africa. It is aimed at ensuring that it is a pathway for development